Back to Lebotinani, who's been joining us throughout the morning. She's been coming to us from Krugersdorp, and we now hand back over to you, Lebo, this morning.
Thanks, P. Now to talk about Earth observation, which is one of the South African National Space Agency's main programs in which it drives and coordinates South Africa's Earth observation efforts. What did I just say in that sentence? Now to tell us more about what does that actually mean is Dr. Jane Olwoch, who's the Managing Director for Earth observation at the South African National Space Agency. As we celebrate Space Week, remember, it was declared by the United Nations General Assembly back in 1999, and then now South Africa has been celebrating it since 2005. For now, though, Dr. Jane, good morning. Welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning.
All right, let's talk about Earth observation. What is it?
It's simply collecting, monitoring and assessing the conditions of environment. Anything that you can collect on the planet Earth is Earth observation. But it's a whole process, because when we collect, we also want to assess the condition. And when you have the condition today, you want to know the condition tomorrow. So we do the impact assessment. That's exactly what it is. Originally, that Earth observation was mainly done by field visits, which we call in situ measurements. But now we are very privileged because we have satellites. And satellites take big pictures of very big areas, but also they do it very quickly. So that helps us to know the conditions of environment really fast, and we can respond to them.
Let's talk about the benefits of this department, in particular economically and socially.
Earth observation, I can say, is one of those programs that translates space assets and technology into society benefits. Because what we do, the country is changing, the whole world is changing, the environment, the vegetation, the water resources, and also human settlement. So we provide that information that allow departments to plan, for example, spatial planning, or even to know how much water we have. We now have problems with water. Yes. So what we've done, we have developed maps of water bodies in the country, but we also have some of information that shows us the water level in the dams. This is important for water department and also for water use and for other different purposes. Apart from that, we also have a program here where we are in Hartbeespoort. We have the Earth Observation Data Center, and there we've got different sensors. I'll talk about them later. But what we do, the government gives us a grant, and we have what we call a single multi-user license. And this enables even private companies in our country to be able to develop companies. So economically, our data and our programs, and especially the single multi-user program, has enabled private companies to grow. So that is a good economic benefit. Also, on economic side, if every single department would be going to buy this imagery, it would cost a lot more. So when we buy together for national benefit, we all contribute, and it's much, much cheaper. So by our program, we have saved the country a lot of money, and not to mention all these social benefits of water monitoring, agriculture, health, and also just knowing how our status for us to be able to respond to them.
Yeah. The theme for Space Week is remote sensing. What, in your opinion, does that mean?
Remote sensing just means to be able to see or view or sense something when you are not physically there. And so the satellites are sensing, or they're actually observing the Earth from far. And this is important, especially the theme for this year that talks about remote sensing enabling our future. That's extremely powerful, because we are celebrating all the information, all the data that we have been getting that has enabled us to know the environment. But we're also celebrating new data sets that are coming up, because what we see today will be the future, and we are celebrating that. But more importantly, this year also theme tells us more about applications. Let us focus on applications that will enable us to understand, to plan better resources, to know how to do electrification, for example. Because if we don't have that detailed knowledge and data on where things are, we are unable to plan. But also more important, if you look at our country, for example, we have programs at NDP, and we see some of our data and programs are responding to that, particularly the human settlement program we have, and also also the disaster, including the human capacity development that we also have. So it's all about application, and it's all about bringing space assets back to Earth in order to enable us to develop.
Yeah. What solutions, though, does Earth observation provide to a problem like that exists right now, like water shortage?
What we do is to provide information that will enable decision making.
Right.
So, for example, when we map the dam levels in the country, then we are able to look at how the water levels were about last month and we compare it with this month. And there we can be able to try to advise people on how to use water or to conserve water, or even just to understand how to plan. Another solution will be on human settlement, for example. I said we have a program on human settlement mapping. This is extremely important because cities are growing very, very fast. And when cities grow, we must be able to have services. So if you don't know how much of the city has grown, how will you be able to respond to that? But more importantly, when we map the human settlement, we've contributed to what we call improving government monitoring of service delivery. When you look at program of building houses, for example, sometimes they are very far away and you don't know how much you have actually built. Yeah. So we do that. We extract and count the number of housings that have been built, enabling the government to monitor the infrastructure development. Right. That can also be in agriculture. For example, we have solutions for agriculture. Currently, we all know we are living under conditions of climate change. The environment has changed, and we cannot keep on doing business as usual. So what we do, we look at the vegetation and we look at the grazing capacity. How much cattle can you keep on a piece of land? So if we see the grazing capacity is low, we can advise the farmer to move away from keeping cattle and keep sheep or something like that. And these are the solutions that you actually provide to the country.
All right, Dr. Jane, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you so much, you and listeners.
All right, Dr. Jane Olwoch, Managing Director of Earth Observation at the South African National Space Agency.